Tuesday with Maury, an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lesson. I'm starting reading this book today. The last class of my old professor's life took place once a week in his house by a window in the study where he could watch a small hibiscus plant shed its pink leaves. The class met on Tuesday. It began after breakfast. The subject was the meaning of life. This is good subject because the only subject to improve your life, you know the meaning of life, and that has no meaning. It's meaningless because you already a meaning and you are completed. It was thought from experience. No grades were given, but there were oral exams each week. You were expected to respond to questions and you were expected to pose questions of your own. You were also required to perform physical tasks now and then, such as lifting the professor's head to a comfortable spot on the pillow, or placing his glasses on the bridge of his nose. Kissing him goodbye earned you extra credit. No books were required, yet many topics were covered, including love, work, community, family, aging, forgiveness, and finally death. The last lecture was brief, only a few words. A funeral was held in Lyon of graduation. All thought no final exam was given. You were expected to produce one long paper on what was learned. That paper is presented here. The last class of my old profession's life had only one student. I was the student. I'm too. It is the late spring of 1979, a hot, sticky Saturday afternoon. Hundreds of us sit together side by side in rows of wooden folding chairs on the main campus lawn. Okay, we wear blue nylon robes. We listen impatiently to long speeches. When the ceremony is over, we throw our caps in the air, and we are officially graduated from college, the senior class of Brandeis University in the city of Waltham, Massachusetts. For many of us, the curtain has just come down on childhood. Afterward, I'd find Maury Quiet, my favorite professor, and introduce him to my parents. Your favorites only, you like him, and you like the way he's teaching you. He is a small man who takes small steps as if a strong wind could at any time whisk him into the clouds in his graduation day robe. He looks like a cross between a biblical prophet and a Christmas elf. He has sparkling blue-green eyes, thinning silver hair that spills onto his forehead, big ears, a triangular nose, and tufts of graying eyebrows. Thought his teeth are crooked and his lower ones are slanted back as if someone had once punched them in. When he smiles, it's as if you just told him the first joke on earth. First joke on earth. Where did you find that this is a joke? He tells my parents how I took every class record. He tells them you have a special Bible here embraced. I look at my feet. Before we leave, I hand my professor a present, a tin briefcase with his initial on the front. I bought this the day before at a shopping mall. I did not want to forget him. Maybe I did not want him to forget me. Mitch, you are one of the good ones, he says, admiring the briefcase. Then he hugs me. I feel his thin arms around my back. I am taller than he is, and when he holds me, I feel awkward, older, as if I were the present and he were the child. He asks if I will stay in touch, and without hesitation, I say, of course. When he steps back, I see that he's crying. His death sentence came in the summer of 1994. Looking back, Maury knew something bad was coming long before that. He knew it the day he gave up dancing. He had always been a dancer. My old professor, the music did not matter. Rock and roll, big band, the blues, he loved them all. He would close his eyes and with a blissful smile begin to move to his own sense of pride. It was not always pretty, but then he did not worry about a partner. Maury danced by himself. Maury is a good dancer because he know dancing in our heart. He used to go to this church in Harvard Square every Wednesday night for something called Dance Free. They had flashing lights and booming speakers, and Maury would wander in among the mostly student crowd wearing a white t-shirt. Student crowd wearing white t-shirt. Student, all the students is only a student. And black sweatpants and a towel around his neck. And whatever music was playing, that's the music to which he danced. He do the line D to Jimmy Hendrix. He twisted and twirled, but the problem is Maury dancing. He chose the only Bennett 2 song for dance because he loved the song and his body work well for the love of song. He do the line D to Hendrix. He twisted and twirled. He waved his arms like a conductor on amphetamines until sweat was dripping down the middle of his back. No one there knew he was a prominent doctor of sociology with years of experience. Yes, experience is everything. But you experience only your past and your common sense not develop what is wrong, what is right. Then you combine with the problems of your whole life. As a college professor and several well-respected books, they just thought he was some nut. Okay, that's enough. Once he threw a tango tape and got them to play it over the speakers.